Welcome YouTube, my name is NightSaberZ42 and today I'm going to be playing some Dungeon of the Endless. And this is not the first video that I've done, but this is the first video that I'm actually going to keep on my channel. And I've tried to start my channel about 3 times now, and I've kind of gotten into groove of playing some games and doing commentary and all that, but I was never really satisfied with anything that I put out. And I'm hoping that this game changes the flow a little bit. So I'm going to play more of a casual game, and I think Dungeon of the Endless is perfect. Dungeon of the Endless, if you don't know, is a dungeon roguelike defense game. Basically, you go through rooms, fight monsters, and you have to get the hell out as quickly as possible when the monsters start pouring in. Sounds easy? Well, it can be. And today, in this episode, and maybe this first run through, I'm going to show you some tips and stuff on how I've played and become successful. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is that if this is your first game, or as in your first run through of this game, you're going to want to play into easy. And let me show you why after this cutscene. Okay. The first thing, let's change it to 2 easy. Now, I've been playing this game for a little bit. I've completed at least 1 run through on 2 easy, and I've tampered a bit with easy just to see how things are. But at the very beginning, if you just run this for the first time, you're going to start with 4 heroes. Max, Sarah, Gork, and Nurse Dina Ratchet. You start off with 4. I have 4 more unlocked, and in order to unlock new characters, you have to meet them in the dungeon, and you have to at least have them survive 3 floors or beat the game with that character in your party. I've met 4 other characters in my other playthroughs, but I have not unlocked them. That means they either died or I quit the game. By the way, your first hint is save and quit is probably your best friend. Don't exit out of the game for whatever reason when you're playing, because if you do, then you don't have a run anymore. It just starts over. Kind of something that happened when I encountered something that basically kicked me out and closed my game, which kind of sucked. But out of the 4 starting characters, I'd say that 2 of them are pretty good, and the other 2 don't really synergize very well, and I'll show you why. The first character that we have, Nurse Dina Ratchet. Okay, she's a very average hero. She has decent overall stats, and her probably the best thing about her is she can heal anybody or everybody in the room that she's in. Once you level her up, you get the paramedic skill, which is an ability that you can use that will grant regeneration over time. I think it's about 9 seconds or something like that. And there's other abilities as you level up. The highest level you can get with any character is level 15. So that's Nurse Dina Ratchet. Gork, he's kind of your slow, tanky kind of person. We're not going to mess with him this run through. I really don't like him. I've messed with him a little bit, and I think the first time I actually recruited him, he died like right after I opened the first door. A wave came, and we ran to our safe spot, and he was the slowest one, and he ended up dying. So yeah, his speed is definitely not anything, but yeah. Max O'Kane, I probably haven't really invested a whole lot of time with him. The only thing that, well, no, he's got low HP. He's just not, I really don't care for him. What I like, Sarah Numas. She's your fast character, the fastest character in the game. She starts with lower HP, but she's going to be getting the armor in our run through. She's going to boost her own defense when she's in a room with multiple party, but that's not really going to concern us because she's going to be by herself most of the time. She does get repair, and down the ways, the newer stun light, when she's in a room with monsters, the monsters are slower. The reason why we're taking Nurse Dina Ratchet over Gork is because at level 4, Nurse Dina Ratchet gets the skill Operate, and we'll talk about our whole strategy and how Operate's going to play into effect. Max O'Kane does get Operate, but I really don't care for him that much. If you pre-ordered and bumped up your game to the, I think, special edition, you also can get Josh Ntello. And Josh Ntello, he's really great because his wit is high, and that translates into his Operate skill, which he gets at level 3. That's one level higher than, or that's one level lower than Max and Nurse Dina get. So if you have Josh Ntello, I would suggest that you start off with Sarah Numas and Josh Ntello as your first run through, which would be really great. I've had some great run throughs. He's kinda overpowered in that respect once you get his wit up really high. So those are the characters that we're going to be running through that we have available. We're going to start off with Sarah. She's going to be our main melee person, and she's going to be running our crystal back and forth, which you'll see and I'll explain once we start the game. And Nurse Dina Ratchet, who has the ability to heal once we level her up, but we're going to be using her mainly as an operator. Now, this right here is our escape module. We have the escape pod right off the bat, and that's the only one that you're going to have unlocked. But some of the other escape pods, they do more things, like the infirmary pod. Your heroes have much more health, but they don't auto heal at the end of a turn. The armory pod, you get 4 heroes to start off with, but you don't have the option of recruiting any more heroes. And the only modules you can get is food. That means your turrets are very limited. There's the library mod, which I have yet to unlock. I almost unlocked it, actually. And the drill pod, which lets you go through infinite number of floors. The sanitary pod. Can't pause the game. Nice. So I am only missing 3 more. Yes. We're going to be doing the escape pod, and that's the one that you'll have access to if this is your first run through. We're going to do this on 2 easy, and let's get the game started. Again, I just have to give kudos to the music of this game. By the way, let's start off with the story. The story is the ship at the very beginning was a prison transport, and basically all the prisoners are going to this planet, and they are going to basically be slaves. Well, the planet is actually defended by a defense system which attacks the ship, and all the prison pods can actually be escape pods. And so when we meet new characters, chances are they're going to be a prisoner. So we're in our escape pod, and this is our crystal. This crystal is very important, and you might want to click it. Don't click it, because if you click it, you're gonna die, and that would be a shame, now wouldn't it? You can select both heroes with the Q button, or just by shifting and clicking the portrait or the characters themselves. I just like to do Q to select all, but sometimes we're going to be dealing with 2 people that we want to move in a specific location. And this game is all about placement. Where are your heroes going to be, and where are your defenses better suited for you? You can zoom out and you can see the whole layout. We only have 1 room. Now, up here, we have our inventory, our options menu. We're running empty on our backpack, but we have our main resources, our FIDs, our food, our science, or rather this is food, science, industry, and dust. And if you've played the game Endless Space or Endless Legend, I think, they're basically the same in the same universe. They use the same resources and the same races and everything. The planet that we are on is a planet that the Endless had a like a facility at, and we're at the lowest level of this facility, and our job is to get to the very top and escape. Dust allows us to power up the rooms, and you can see it by the highlight. In order to power up, we have to have dust available. Okay. If we want to heal our heroes during combat, we are going to use food, and each hero, this one will use 3, and Dina will use 3. Science is used, you can restore a person's powers, which is, I really don't use it, I've never used it. But science is also used to research things, and we'll talk about what we can research here in just a moment. Industry allows us to build things like turrets and other modules. Speaking of modules, we have our modules down here. Each one of these creators gives us a bonus to what we can get. So an industry generator 1 allows us to get more industry. Right now we get +8. With the industry generator we get +3, so that will be 11 per turn, or per door that we open. The science gives us +3. The food replicator 1 gives us +3. At the moment, nothing generates dust except for finding it in rooms, or doing some funky stuff with the merchant, which I've only done once, and it really wasn't worth it. So other than the major modules, you can have minor modules, and the heart one is used for restoring life. There's a crystal that you can get that restores life. The sword is your prisoner prod. That's basically your turret, which will attack enemies, and the shield is the defense. You can also get rid of modules, and we might do that in the later floors once we've researched everything that we want. You can destroy the science crystals, which is really cool. So, I've done enough talking. Let's go through this door. You can tell that there's a door, there's a red bar, and when you hover over it, it says open. So let's open that up and see what we have. Okay, we have some enemies, but in Too Easy, the enemies really go down without too much of a problem. But we have our first room that we can power up. So we're gonna power it up, and that will take over one of the dusts. And we have an empty module, and generally the first rule is get that industry down first. Just get it down. Now, we're gonna wait 1 turn or 2 turns to level up Dina, because when she levels up to level 3 or 4, she's going to get that operate, and we want her to get operate as quickly as possible so we can do some pretty cool stuff. For now, we're just gonna leave that industry module to +11, and we're gonna go explore the next room. Okay, here we found some dust, which actually allowed us to get another bar. For each 10 dust, you get an extra bar. So we're at 34, so we can have 3 bars. This is the science crystal that allows us to research, and we have a food replicator too, which we're going to want pretty soon. So as soon as we get that a next module, major module slot, we're gonna get that science down. Unfortunately, there's nothing in here except 9 dust, which is nice, and this room is powered by a mysterious force. That means you don't need to spend dust to power it up. It's powered by a mysterious force. Let's go on to the next room. Here's a merchant. Merchants, they sell things, and their currency is either industry, science, food, and sometimes dust. And when you see that when the currency is dust, it's always probably better just to leave him alone. Here we have food. Ooh. Defense +4, defense +3, defense +9 with a speed -2. As much as I would love to take that, We'll see if we can come back to him at the end before we take the crystal. But we're gonna level up Dina, and she's got her paramedic skill. Health regen plus 12, or health regen plus 6 to heroes on the floor, which I actually did not know. The cooldown is 3 rooms, so you open up 3 rooms before you can use it again, and the duration is 10 seconds, which is pretty nice. We're going to exclusively level her up, and the next level is 41 food. It takes food to level up your heroes. So let's go to the right and let's see what we have next. Okay, some more monsters. And these little crystals, they like to go right past you and attack your crystal. Now, when a monster attacks your crystal, you lose dust. And when you lose all your dust, the crystal explodes and it's game over. Now, we've done a pretty good job of finding dust, and dust is randomly generated in a room. But sometimes we cannot power each room. And when you cannot power a room and you move on, there's a chance that monsters will spawn. And if monsters spawn in that room, they're going to go and search for things to kill or destroy. So that's bad. Always keep your rooms powered if you can. Let's go over to the next room. Now, you can see that I'm going exclusively to this side. I'm going to choose one direction. I'm going to stay going in one direction. And the reason is, let's say we went back and we decided to open up this top room, that means there's going to be the chance that monsters can spawn from this room if we don't have that room powered, and this room. So we always want to keep the rooms powered, but when we go to one side, we're going to keep going to that one side. Don't just leave that room unless it's dead end. Keep exploring if you can. Okay, we finally get another module and we find a chest, and the chest has the restrainer, which is awesome. Now we don't need to buy that t-shirt. We're just going to give it to Sarah, who's going to get a boost in her defense. It's sacrificed some DPS, but that's okay with me. We're going to want her defense to be up. We also have a major module, and like I promised, we're going to get that science generator up so we can get some science. And we're just probably about 2 or 3 turns away from getting that food replicator 2, which is a big find early on the very first floor. Okay, another room that we can power, and that is the end of that direction. Yes. So we're going to go here to this side that we have all powered up. And we're going to open up this bottom one. Okay, dead end. Let's see what we got. Okay, we found some industry. 6 industry. And we do not have enough power to power up this room. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave Nurse Dina Ratchet in that room. Sarah can basically handle anything that comes on the first floor and the second floor by herself, as long as we keep her occupied. There we go. We have 10 dust, so we're gonna power up this room, and this room is the room that we escaped from. We take our crystal that's right here all the way through these rooms, and we have to escape. Basically, you're taking the crystal that powers up the rooms up to the next floor to power up that floor, and basically you're just trying to escape this endless dungeon. I see what I did there. I used the name of the game in the... yeah, okay. Anyways, we're gonna leave Nurse Dina Ratchet in this room that we cannot power. Hopefully we won't have too much problems, but let's go back to our science and see if we can... yes, we can. So we're gonna get this food replicator 2, and it takes 3 turns for it to research. Now the thing is, if we encounter the last room in the dungeon, it will still research. So you can plan it out, and if you know that there's at least one more door open, you can still research one more thing before you have to get out. So let's have Sarah go up to this room, this northern room. Yes. See what I mean? This is the last room in the dungeon. Now, I'm not going to heal Sarah, not on this first floor, but I am going to bring Nurse Dina up here where the merchant is, and bring Sarah back. That way we can heal Sarah and they can both deal damage. So let's get that going. Okay, timing is key in this game, and if your timing is off, it could really get a hero killed. And once the hero's dead, it's basically permadeath. And luckily we didn't need to heal Sarah. Well, unfortunately, now that we've opened all the doors on this room, we cannot research anything else. Well, no remaining closed doors, so we need at least closed doors in order to research. Plus, we don't have the science. Now, all of our FIDs, our food, industry, dust, and science, do accumulate to the next floor. But we're done with this floor. So what we're going to do, we're going to have Nurse Dina Ratchet come all the way up. And we're going to have Sarah come down. Sarah's going to be our runner. Whoops. And she's going to run this crystal back to the exit. And once we pick this crystal up, monsters are going to start spawning from the rooms that aren't powered. Here we go. Okay, pause. And let's send Sarah up there. And here we can see that monsters are going to start appearing. That floor, they're already there. And they should just start appearing at that top floor. Surprisingly, there they are. Okay, these crystals won't attack us. Maybe they do. I've never actually had them attack. Nurse can take care of herself. Well, as soon as Sarah's there, we're gonna exit on out. Now, the cool thing about this game is, if you have certain characters in your party together, there's a bit of backstory to them. I don't think there's any backstory with Sarah or Nurse Dina, but this is it for the first floor, and I think I'm actually going to call this episode here because I went on and explained why we're getting the heroes that we are and all that. And so I want to thank you for watching this very first video, and I hope that I can make more videos as time goes on. And if you really like this video or want to support me, please give a like or subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and that would also let me know that I can do this really cool new hobby and continue on. So thank you. My name is NightSaberZ42. Don't forget to like, share, or comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.